Good YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, interesting. Two-time unified heavyweight world champion British superstar boxer Anthony Joshua, 24 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 22 wins by way of knockout. He himself was knocked out one time in his career. 31 years of age, stands at 6'6" with an 82-inch arm reach. He will be taking on the former cruiserweight undisputed world champion, Ukraine superstar boxer turned heavyweight title contender and the WBO mandatory challenger for Anthony Joshua, that being Alexander Usyk, okay? That's scheduled to take place September 25th of this year. Alexander Usyk, 18 wins, no losses, no draws, 13 wins by way of knockout, 34 years of age, 6'3" with a 78-inch arm reach, okay? So Anthony Joshua is going to have a 3-inch height advantage over Alexander Usyk, and he's going to have a 5-inch arm reach advantage over Alexander Usyk. And surprisingly, Anthony Joshua is younger than Alexander Usyk, 3 years younger than Alexander Usyk, okay? So with that said, they agreed to everything yesterday, made it official. We knew this was coming down the pipeline. It was made official yesterday for September 25th. With that said, Anthony Joshua, he was asked about his future, because boxing is a sport of, we always look past what's in front of us for, the grass is being greener on the other side, okay? And with that said, Anthony Joshua was asked about, should he get past Alexander Usyk, what is going to be his plans? In which Anthony Joshua says, you never know what tomorrow holds, so I don't know exactly what it is going to be after this fight with Alexander Usyk. But I do know I want to fight for that other belt, okay, the WBC belt. He wants to become undisputed. Now we know he and fellow countrymen, undefeated two-time heavyweight world champion British superstar boxer Tyson and Gypsy King Fury, engaged in contract negotiations and talks about staging a 2-fight deal in 2021 for undisputed, or all British undisputed showdown, which will end a 100+ year drought of having an undisputed United Kingdom heavyweight world champion, okay? So, with that said, they even scheduled a date, August 14th, knowing that Tyson Fury was contractually obligated to give Olympic bronze medalist, former WBC American heavyweight world champion, superstar boxer Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder a trilogy match. First fight ended in draw, second fight ended in 7th round stoppage victory for Tyson Fury. Third fight was on the cusp, already agreed upon. Although they were in mediation arbitration, they ignored all of that and continued to still proceed forward with negotiations and plans and hopes of staging this undisputed match, which obviously fell through. Tyson Fury has to give Deontay Wilder the trilogy match. Judge ruled in Deontay Wilder's favor. Anthony Joshua wasn't happy. He blamed everything on Tyson Fury, said Tyson Fury knew this was coming down the pipe and he should have never negotiated. Anthony Joshua, he knew this was coming down the pipe and he himself should have never negotiated, okay? Nor should his promoter, Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn, who is a promoter of Anthony Joshua, who engaged deeply in negotiations for this undisputed match and knew, he was very well aware that Deontay Wilder was owed contractually obligated a trilogy match, okay? They ignored all of that and tried to proceed forward in hopes that the judge would rule in Tyson Fury's favor, and it didn't happen. So he was more eager to negotiate a deal with Tyson Fury, more so than past years with Deontay Wilder, who was seeking out an undisputed match with Anthony Joshua for quite some time. Tyson Fury is even on record as saying Anthony Joshua, he didn't want to make the fight happen with Deontay Wilder, so I have to do it. So we know the backstory and the history of that. But now Anthony Joshua, once again, as he stated in his post-fight press conference after he defeated his IBF mandatory challenger in Kubrat Pulev, Anthony Joshua, in his post-fight press conference, he stated, who do you guys want to see me fight next? The crowd started saying Tyson Fury. He said he'll leave it up to his promoter. And once again, at that point in time, he stated, it has nothing to do with the actual fighter. I don't care who I fight. It's about the belt and the legacy for me. And so now he's doubled down on it once again by saying, it doesn't matter who wins between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. That's who I want to fight, if not all of them, okay? He says, so maybe after this fight, I'll fight Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, maybe Luis Ortiz, Andrew Ruiz, or a Dillian White rematch, okay? A trilogy with Andrew Ruiz or a Dillian White rematch. Now, with that said, it seems to me as if he was leaving a door open slightly. If Deontay Wilder wins, then he will have to face one of these other guys instead of facing Deontay Wilder. But he stated that he wants to face Deontay Wilder, and it's about the legacy. Then he goes on to say that Alexander Usyk is on the same level, if not better, than Tyson Fury. Okay? He stated that Alexander Usyk is not a step down from Tyson Fury, because he was asked, how do you motivate yourself to fight Alexander Usyk after you had all plans to fight an undisputed showdown with Tyson Fury? And then he goes on and says, well, it's about the legacy and the belts anyway. It wasn't about fighting Tyson Fury, and Alexander Usyk is on the same level as Tyson Fury. He's just as good as Tyson Fury. And I have to beg to differ. Alexander Usyk is not on the level of Tyson Fury. Now, maybe Anthony Joshua, maybe he's using that as leverage to, give himself some sort of bulletin board material or some sort of, edge that he needs to go in this fight, to prepare for Alexander Usyk and tell himself that Alexander Usyk is similar to Tyson Fury or on the same level skill-wise or talent-wise as Tyson Fury, because he's absolutely not. Now, I do think that Tyson Fury at times has unfair advantages going into these fights, and especially in the rematch with Deontay Wilder. First fight, you saw the left glove flapping around. Second fight, we know the history there. We know even the Christian Hammer fight, the weapon was clipped, so on and so forth. But Tyson Fury is still a very talented boxer, even without all the antics, okay? Without all the unfair advantages. He's still a talented boxer, okay? And more talented than Alexander Usyk. Alexander Usyk is a good fighter at cruiserweight, okay? Alexander Usyk is not a good heavyweight. He's okay. He's shown against lower level opposition or journeymen like Derek Chisora or Chaz Witherspoon that he's not on that high level, okay? Those were lackluster performances against guys that you would expect a guy in his prime to be able to walk right through both of those guys if he's as talented as everybody makes him out to be. You have ESPN have him as a heavyweight on their pound for pound list, top 10, when they don't even have Jermell Charlo, who's a unified two-time junior middleweight world champion superstar boxer. They don't have Jamal Charlo, his identical twin brother, who's a two-division world champion, the reigning middleweight undefeated world champion, okay? They don't have the likes of these guys. Gervonta Tank Davis, three-division world champion, has 25 fights and 24 knockouts, no losses, no draws, at 26 years old. He's a five-time world champion. They don't have Gervonta Tank Davis on this list, but they have Alexander Usyk because he became undisputed and he won the tournament at cruiserweight, okay? But when he turned heavyweight, you can see his skill set is not on par with that of the upper echelon. Now, there's tiers in the heavyweight division, in my opinion. You have Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, and Anthony Joshua in the top tier. And then you have that second tier where you have Luis Ortiz, Andy Ruiz, Dillian White, and guys of that stature, okay? And then you have a tier below that, a C tier. And I believe that that's what Alexander Usyk is. Because I don't believe Alexander Usyk could beat Andy Ruiz Jr. I don't believe Alexander Usyk could beat Luis Ortiz. I don't believe Alexander Usyk could beat Dillian White. I just don't believe that he can beat those level of fighters, okay? He struggled with Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora is not the same guy that Dillian White fought twice and brutally knocked out in the second fight. Derek Chisora is not the same guy Tyson Fury fought twice. He's just not that same guy. Chaz Witherspoon is nowhere near on their level at all whatsoever. He's not even on Derek Chisora's level, okay? So he's not Derek Chisora is not the guy that fought David Haye. He's not that guy, So with that said, his struggles with them, which is considered to be his prime, a big, slick boxer, that's a southpaw, he's supposed to dominate these fights. And he did nothing of the sort, okay? He absolutely looked, it was lackluster, let down performances. I expected him to be much better than what he's displayed at the heavyweight division, okay? And so with that said, again, he fought Tony Bellew, a former cruiserweight world champion, turned heavyweight title contender. And when he fought Tony Bellew was winning a fight hands down, outboxing him, outclassing him. But Tony Bellew ran out of gas in the second half of the fight, and he ended up getting knocked out. Not because of what Alexander Usyk did, but because Tony Bellew just simply ran out of gas. He just didn't have any more to give. He couldn't move around the ring. Alexander Usyk is the bigger guy, and he just became stationary and just started taking punches. and eventually got knocked out. So, again, I just don't see how Anthony Joshua, unless he's using it as motivation, unless he's using it as like I said, to have a chip on his shoulder, motivation, bulletin board material. He's nowhere near on the level of Tyson Fury. I believe Tyson Fury would stop Alexander Usyk within 5 rounds. And Tyson Fury is not a big puncher. 21 knockouts show up on his box rack, but Tyson Fury has only four knockouts in his entire career. The rest are stoppages, accumulation punches. But I bet you he would stop Alexander Usyk, because Alexander Usyk is just not that good, especially not the heavyweight division. He's a better cruiserweight, okay? So now we have to see if Deontay Wilder, it seems like Tyson Fury, who tested positive for the C-19, and the fight July 24th, this Saturday, was supposed to be the fight between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. And Tyson Fury, well, he pulled out of the fight. Tyson Fury, according to reports, tested positive, and then 2 days later he was negative, and they stated it was supposed to be an outbreak amongst his team, and the only people that after that they reported was himself and one of his sparring partners, Efe Ajagba, who was undefeated heavyweight American title contender, who was supposed to be on the undercard as well against Frank's what's his name, Frank Sanchez, I believe it is. So that was postponed, and it was a lot of conflicting reports. But then, nonetheless, the fight got pushed back to October 9th, and it seems like Tyson Fury was trying to buy time, just wasn't prepared. There was reports that Jared Big Baby Anderson, the real Big Baby Anderson, as he calls himself, undefeated American heavyweight prospect, was giving Tyson Fury all types of problems in training and sparring, and knocked out Tyson Fury on his feet. That's the reports that came out in sparring. So it seems like Tyson Fury needed to buy more time to prepare himself for Deontay Wilder trilogy match. And then we hear reports that Tyson Fury is reaching out to Freddie Roach, well-renowned Hall of Fame trainer who is in training camp with 8th Division legendary iconic Filipino superstar boxer Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao for his mega showdown against undefeated unified WBC IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer who's widely considered to be top 3 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world in Earl of Truth Spence Jr. So Freddie Roach said he turned down Tyson Fury's offer to train him for this Wilder trilogy. That makes sense. He needs more time, right? If he's going to have the fight in October, obviously, if the fight is going to take place now, Freddie Roach can't double dip, train Tyson Fury for a July fight and train Manny Pacquiao for an August fight. Okay, we know well-renowned future Hall of Fame trainer, 2-time trainer of the year, Derrick James, he does so when he's training Jamel Charlo and Errol Spence Jr. But nonetheless, everybody can't focus on big fights like that and be able to, paraphrase, right? He can't, train both guys, okay? So with that said, he turned him down. There would be the 3rd trainer for Tyson Fury in 3 fights with Deontay Wilder, but this is a guy he so easily beat. So let's see if Anthony Joshua, if Deontay Wilder is successful. He looks great, new trainer in Malik Scott, and he's using head movement. He looked quicker, he looked rejuvenated. He beats Tyson Fury. Let's see if Anthony Joshua truly sticks to what he's saying about it being about the belts and not about the legacy. Let's see if he pushed for the Deontay Wilder fight as hard as he's pushing for this Tyson Fury fight. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comments. Oh, and I expect Anthony Joshua to defeat Alexander Usyk within 5-6 rounds. Before I get to that and close out, Anthony Joshua is the better fighter. He's better technically sound. He's more grounded. He's more sturdy. Alexander Usyk movement is going to give Anthony Joshua problems in the very beginning. But Anthony Joshua, after the 2nd round, is going to get his time in the distance, and he's going to knock out Alexander Usyk within 5 to 6 rounds. So that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you smash the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all of the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Hey, this is Ebony Bridges, Blonde Bomber, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.